They have chicken Kiev. Butter squirts everywhere.
Oh, I don't even need to look. Chicken Kiev.
And they make you wear a bib.
Come on, let's have some fun.
2 chicken Kievs.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to They Said It on TV and I Wanted to Eat It, so I'm gonna make it, with Babish. Chicken Kiev is an indulgent 20th century staple that requires a bit of butchery. So on a clean cutting board stabilized by a moistened towel, we're plopping down a pair of chicken breasts and butterflying them. That is, carefully placing a cut directly down the center of the breast and opening it up like a book. I say carefully because we want to do this as evenly as possible and minimize holes through which our herby butter stuffing can leak out. Once they've been butterflied, we're going to sandwich the breasts betwixt sheets of plastic wrap so that we can pound them out as thin as possible. Again, this is a little tricky. You don't want to pound them out too thin because they could form holes. Some holes are going to be fine, but bigger ones, especially in the middle of the breast, are going to be problematic. Ultimately, we want them to be about 1.5 times their original size. And then we must stuff our chicken with compound butter, which we are compounding with some fresh herbs. I got about 2 tablespoons of fresh dill, 1 tablespoon of tarragon, and 3 tablespoons of parsley, which I'm going to mix together with 6 ounces of room temperature, high quality unsalted butter. I'm also going to grate a couple cloves of garlic in there, give it a little pinch of salt, a few twists of freshly ground black pepper, and then give it a good paddling until the herbs and garlic are evenly distributed throughout the butter, making sure to leave no butter behind. Once that's ready to go, we need to form the butter into logs, which we're going to do with wetted hands. This will prevent the butter from sticking to your hands too much and help you shape them into cleaner, rounder, smoother logs. Once you've shaped the butter into 2 separate 3-ounce logs, we need to firm them up in the fridge for at least 20 minutes before inserting them into our chicken. First, we're going to season the inside of the chicken with a little bit of kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. Place the butter at the narrowest end nearest to you and roll it up like a burrito. That is, roll it a little bit, tuck in the sides, and continue rolling for maximum chicken ensconcement. Then to get a really clean cylindrical shape, I like to wrap these guys up in plastic wrap and utilize the Gordon Ramsay whipsy flipsy method to wrap them up into a tight chicken tube, which I'm going to place in the freezer for 15 to 20 minutes to firm up so they're ready for breading. We're going with a standard 3-stage breading station, but to the 1 cup of flour, I'm going to add half a cup of cornstarch, which will hopefully help seal any minor gaps in our chicken. I'm also adding a little bit of kosher salt and freshly ground pepper, tiny whisking to combine, and likewise whisking the eggs into a slurry. Then we're dropping the chicken straight disastrous into the flour mixture first, making sure that it is thoroughly coated before transferring over to the eggs, and likewise ensuring that every nook and or cranny is coated. Then it's headed over to the breadcrumbs where, you guessed it, we got to make sure that it is thoroughly coated, and I'm going to double dip the chicken so it's headed back into the eggs and then back into the breadcrumbs, which will hopefully help secure its buttery payload. We're letting that hang out on a rimmed baking sheet covered in breadcrumbs while we complete the second chicken breast, and if you have any problematic cracks or gaps, you can always try to seal them up by repeatedly dipping them in egg and breadcrumbs respectively. But don't worry too much, because even though we are deep frying these in 350 Fahrenheit oil, we're only doing so for about 2 minutes. Just enough time to give the outside some color and create a crispy, crunchy barrier that will keep the melted butter in place while these guys finish in the oven. First, we're going to drain them on paper towels, which is going to help soak up any excess oil. I'm also frying them one at a time, both because it's scary and so we don't drop the temperature of the oil too much. Then these guys are headed onto a rack set in a rimmed baking sheet and baking in a 350 Fahrenheit oven for anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes depending on the size of your chicken. You know that it's done when you start hearing butter sputtering on the bottom of the pan. Then these guys have to rest for at least 10 minutes before being served up with some era-appropriate sides. I think mashed potatoes is the ideal base for this dish because it's about to get positively showered in butter and herbs. And there you have it, folks, the only chicken I know of that you need to eat with a bib. The sort of butter cavity left inside the chicken is a little odd looking to me, but let's see what it tastes like. And big surprise, this tastes really, really good. Turns out if you stuff chicken with garlic herb butter, bread it, and then deep fry it, it turns out pretty tasty. And what's really cool is the liquidous gold treasure within transforms everything else on the plate, which makes it both an obvious entrant into the Clean Plate Club and a great motivator to go hit the gym.